A modern, stylish, fashionable girl like Sahana was not at all attracted to that average looking but very serious looking boy Shiva. The chance meeting had not sparked a great love affair, but she had agreed that there was some unknown attraction in that young man. Whatever we call a burden in life today, we may find ourselves wanting again and again in the future. Sahana had just completed her MBA and was looking for a job. Her father was a homeopathic doctor. He was in a great demand in Bangalore. He was a doctor in a government hospital earlier, and after retirement he ran his own private clinic. Patients kept coming from all over Bangalore to find him. One day, when there were few patients, a tall young man of average build, fair complexion, came to find him and became his last patient of the day. The young man, who must have been 26 years old, was patiently waiting for his turn. Natraj, who had a clinic downstairs, had a house of about 2 rooms upstairs. That day Sahana had to attend some interview. She locked the house and gave the key to her father and came to the clinic downstairs. She noticed him sitting in his queue and waiting. She came straight to his father's table to finish her work. Just like that, everyone else's turn was over and it was his turn. She had not even finished talking to her father when he came in. The doctor seemed familiar. He smiled familiarly, welcomed her warmly, and sat her down. He stopped his daughter, who was about to leave, and introduced her. Sahana, this is Shiva. He has just come to this remote area on the outskirts of our Bangalore as a railway station master. This is his first posting. His house is in faraway Tumkur. He is the only bachelor here. He comes and goes here. If you need any help, see him. Yes, Appaji. Don't you also take the train from here to Yelahanka station, change from there and go to college? Even after completing college, don't you need a railway pass to travel around the city? He is the station master, so fill out the form quickly, give him a stamp-sized photo and the money directly. Your pass will be ready the next day. What will you do, Shiva? It can be a big deal, sir. There was no arrogance in his words. Okay, Appaji, I am leaving now, she said, glancing sideways at Shiva and quickly stepped out. She noticed a strange tension in his gaze. His face was a little dark but concerned. Even though he was talking to the doctor, Sahana felt that all the attention was on her. She appreciated the carefree smile on his lips. She could hear both of them clearly. She started walking slowly as she wanted. Sir, I have been suffering from a cold for a long time. My nose is blocked all night and I cannot sleep. There is a lot of phlegm in my throat. This makes my cough worse and makes me feel nauseous, like a cold-blooded animal. He was telling his cold problems. Now, if he had just introduced the beautiful 23-year-old girl, he would have been telling her a list of his diseases as if he were listening to her. The doctor felt. Anyway, he understood from his words that the boy was attractive and that he must be a little gentle. He prescribed him the medicine he needed and gave him 2 samples he had. She had gone to the city for her work, but her mind was fixed on that. Even though she had been in contact with so many people who were smarter than him, she had never felt such a feeling of love. That night, when she sat down to write her diary, she could not write anything on the page for that date, so she scribbled lines in a somewhat crazy way. He had occupied her mind so much. Like a cuckoo in spring singing in celebration of the change of season, her heart was engaged in love. She spent the night sleepless, hoping to pour out her heart to him, whom she did not know much. That interview did not come. She did not even think of getting a job soon. Thus, time was spent wandering around the city, wandering here and there, searching for work. He had not come to see the doctor. She felt that she could have caught his eye even under that pretext. But she remembered that hers was one-way love and that he had not given her any such response. Sahana felt a little sad when she realized that even when she went to get a railway pass, the work was done mechanically and he did not inquire about her in particular. Like everyone else, she naturally recognized that Shiva was not a romantic person. Meanwhile, preparations for her wedding began in full swing at home. Appaji told his eldest daughter to inquire from all over and register her name on a matrimonial website. When Sahana was born, her mother had died in childbirth. Sanjana, who had just completed high school, became not only the eldest daughter but also the mother of the family. After completing her BA and B.Ed, Sanjana, who wore glasses as a private high school teacher, was literally a madam at home. From cooking to managing the entire household, she was the one. Natraj never thought of remarrying. Having grown up witnessing her father's single life, Sanjana decided that she never wanted to get married after she turned 30. Now, after many years, a daughter's marriage was being discussed in that house. Despite being told not to do so, Sahana, without listening to her heart, told her sister what she had in mind about Shiva. Sanjana, who stood by her sister, told her father to talk to Shiva. When Natraj came to know about the matter, he invited Shiva, whom he had met in this way, to his house for dinner. Thus, Shiva came to his dining hall. The two of them had only a formal conversation, but since Sanjana served the meal was serious. Thus, he came to his house 4 times during festivals. But Shiva, who was of a dull nature, never crossed the boundary of his Lakshman Rekha and developed a rapport with Sahana. Realizing this, Natraj finally took the plunge and started the marriage talk in front of him and asked his opinion about Sahana. Shiva did not even think that there might be some motive behind this. Even after inviting him so intimately and having him dine with him 4-6 times, if he had asked such a beautiful educated girl to marry him, he would have agreed without thinking twice. But this Bhupati did not do anything like that and did not hesitate to say later, his nature is different from everyone else. Without thinking a bit, when asked by Natraj, he said that this marriage is not possible. When asked why, he said that if the house of the in-laws who are giving the girl to is close to his house, it will definitely not work out. It would be better if it was in a different town and left. His argument was that the closer the in-laws' house is, the more connections they will have. In the meantime, she had received a job offer from a good company in Mumbai. His answer prompted her to leave immediately, thinking that she would decide on this marriage after looking into it. Natraj closed the clinic for 4 days, took his daughter to Mumbai, arranged for her in a hostel for working women and returned. Sahana, who used to pour out her feelings in a diary, had taken the diary and left. Thus, Sahana, who was caught up in the mechanical life of Mumbai, found a new chapter in her life there. Shiva had not achieved much success as the master of that very modest railway station on the outskirts of Bangalore. His parents lived in Bhadravati. He had 2 older sisters who were happily married. This young man, 26, was the youngest in the family and very self-confident. A self-confident person who did all his own work from the beginning. He had rented a one-room house in a place that could be considered a little closer to the office. He cooked his own food, washed his clothes on weekends, and somehow led a celibate life. However, he had applied for a comfortable house at the railway quarters. It was not supposed to be sanctioned for such an easy job for a poor person. When he got this job and settled in Bangalore, it was in 2013. At that time, his salary was only 25,000 rupees. Due to staff shortage, he often had to do 12-hour station master duty. The night shift was another hardship. The department used to cancel many of his weekend leaves on the pretext of staff shortage. Whether it was raining during the monsoon or shivering with cold in the winter, the hardship of duty was not spared on top of this duty. He would only get leave when he was very sick and could not get up for 2 days. Since the rented house was a little far from his office, he used to report for duty in a kinetic Honda. Due to the driving of the Honda like this and the soaking in the rain, his cold, cough, and asthma would start to flare up. He would get tired just by returning home from duty, cooking some food, washing the dishes, and cleaning the house. His parents had started a petition asking him to stay at their son's house for a few days and look for a two-bedroom house. Will he find a safe haven in Bangalore so soon? And that too in the form of a rented house? Despite the same outskirt, he could not escape the trouble. In order to do something like this and get a house in the railway quarters, he went to the department office and got sanctioned for not being a troublemaker but doing something. The next day, he went to see the house allotted to him. The railway quarters were within a 15-20 minute walk of his duty station. It was obvious from the moment you saw them that the two-bedroom house had been built many years ago. There was enough space in front of the house to grow some large flower beds. Everything else had been uprooted and vegetables had grown in the bougainvillea compound. It looked a bit dilapidated from the outside as it had been vacant for a long time. Rats and mice were roaming around in abundance. When Shiva walked forward and unlocked the door and entered, he had to cough and cough for 5 minutes to get better. It was clear that no one had lived there for at least 2-3 years. Before he came here, an elderly station master had lived there. Shiva had only been allowed to enter after his retirement. When he arrived at the house as a posting, no one even looked back until he opened the lock. The plaster had peeled off in many places and was rough. The windows and doors were dilapidated and the taps were broken here and there. The whitewash on the walls was flaking off in an ugly way. The layers were falling off the roof above. Even the rented house he was staying in was not so neat. When he went to the bathroom, there were more shocks waiting there. The plastered walls were peeling here and there, the floor was rotten, and the bathroom was even more terrible. The cement tank used to fill the water was cracked here and there. There was not even a wash basin in the house to wash hands. Even if it was his house, it seemed unfit for human habitation compared to the rented house he had. He decided to get this house repaired properly before he shifted here. He wanted to give it a modern touch. It was impossible to repair such a large two-bedroom house without spending rupees 50,000. But where would he get that much money? He used to send rupees 10,000 to his parents from his salary and pay rent on the remaining 15,000 rupees to earn a living. If he applied for repairs to his government department, they would sanction it and take at least 6 months to start the work. However, he knew that by doing that work right under their noses, the house would not be as neat as he had imagined. Could this be the beautiful and festive house he had imagined? He came out of his dream world and decided that he had to fix it somehow. What action would he take next? He never received financial help from his father. Even if he had the means, he would not help. He was a staunch advocate of the idea that his son should find his own way of life. As he had joined the workforce, he had not saved a large amount of money from the income he received. So, if he poured all the little money he had into repairing his office quarters, he would have to borrow money for his wedding expenses tomorrow. How could he bring a new wife to this ruined house and start a family? How could he convince his family that his job was not a menial one, but one that would give him a comfortable home to stay in? No matter how much he thought about it, he finally felt that the only way out was to go to the office and apply for the house repair. The next morning, he finished his first shift duty at 2 a.m., found the administrative office of his department, and applied for it. He hoped that if he told them about his department position and service, they would definitely help him. But even though he gave all these details, none of them showed any interest in it. He realized that the gravitational force of these gentlemen must be very strong. He wondered if it was really possible for him to get this job done by filling their pockets. He was lectured at every chair and table there. He was convinced of the circus he would have to go through to get it approved legally and how long it would take. Despite all the 2 hours of hustling, the status of his application was like a blanket lying there. The file was given an administrative office name, Mission, quarters number 5 bar 2B. The young man who was comfortable with his job now had to climb the stairs of the admin office one by one to inquire about the condition of his house and when the repairs would be done. As soon as his duty was over, he went there and contacted those people and started devising strategies to get the job done. Started gathering information and tried again and again but was disappointed. Earlier, he used to come to Natraj's clinic for medicine for cold, cough, and fever. But now he was immersed in the great work of repairing the house as if it were all very ordinary. In the meantime, he received a call from his father. He had chosen a bride for his son. He had sent the photo and details on WhatsApp. He had also sent his details to the girl's family and got the OK. Now, Shiva had to answer quickly. Before he could say anything, his father had already started other preparations for the wedding. His son, who is in government job, had chosen a graduate girl to marry the railway station master. Now his demand was that Shiva should take care of the remaining responsibilities without delay. In this critical situation, he felt that he had to talk to him. You have found a girl for marriage. I have also had enough of cooking and serving here every day. But after marriage, don't you want a good house to live with my wife? I am looking at government quarters for that. It is not suitable for living at that moment. After all the repairs are done, I will tell you that when I will get married. I don't know about that. Before all that is done, look for another good rented house. After your wedding this year, we will both stay with your sisters for a while. We will stay in America and Australia for six months. It has been so many years since I retired and I have not seen those girls even once since they went there. We rented our house to someone. I have arranged for the rent to come directly to your account. After 2 years, they will return to Bhadravati and vacate the house for us. While I am making all these arrangements, you don't need to postpone the wedding. If you want to be with the girl, make a video call. Just tell me the date you want to fix the wedding after looking at your leave. Don't change anything else, he growled. That's all right, just give me some time. I'll let you know when everything is okay from my side. Don't book a flight right now, he said, getting a little irritated. Let it go. You talk to that girl and tell her it's okay. We will see about the next arrangement, he said. After the line was cut at that point, Shiva felt that there was no point in arguing with him. He had been like that since the beginning, insisting on doing what he said. Amma had been married for so many years without being able to say anything to his nature. Thus, Shiva started hunting for a quarters again. This time, he again appeared before the senior civil engineer with his application files. The man, however, appeared to be very busy. Half of his time was spent doing government work, while the other half was spent doing his private work, and he had built a magnificent 3-story bungalow in the middle of the city. As if that were not enough, he had built houses in dozens of places in the city and was collecting lakhs on rent. His magnificent figure and fat body told us what a happy man he was. This man, who was humbly begging to get a government job done, seeing the accused, he thought it was a harmless creature. Thinking that this matter should be dealt with differently, the noble engineer said, "Look, there are thousands of such applications here. If you want yours to pass, visit me at home. Let's analyze it personally and fix it. Too bad, you seem like a loyal officer." With no other choice, Shiva searched for the house of that great man the next day and saying, "Oh God, He traveled all over the town in an auto and landed in front of his magnificent bungalow. This dumb animal, who had seen the grandeur of that bungalow from the outside, hesitated. What would he do if this man did not do his job, and asked for a bribe of more? Praying in his mind that it would be weighed at 12,000, he went and rang the bell of that bungalow. The woman who came from inside gave him water, took his visiting card, and said that the Sahib was busy in a meeting inside. Sit for a while, he will be called, and left. Thinking that there was no toll on the way Shiva came, he sat and looked at the beauty of the entire room. 15 minutes, not half an hour, he waited for 3/4 of an hour. But the man was not found. Having had enough, Shiva got up and said, "Let's leave," concluded. Shiva, who was waiting at the senior engineer's house, did not get a glimpse of him for a long time. He had waited for so long, and when he got up, he thought, "Let's get up and leave." A white, slightly plump, mature woman appeared in front of him, holding a tray of coffee and snacks in her hand. She must have been around 30. She brought the tray with a smile and placed it on the teapot in front of him and said, "Please accept this snack until father comes. The meeting is getting delayed because someone from the minister's side has arrived. He told me over the intercom to take care of your hospitality." When she came to inquire about the house repair sanction, it seemed that the senior was trying to sanction his own daughter. "I am Sneha. You have not even tasted this dish. Even take the potato bhaji. I made it myself. Tell me how it is," she said, and started treating me more than necessary, giving me coffee, spicy cashew nuts fried in ghee. "Oh my God, I am going to get myself into such a mess," he started moaning. While his parents were in a hurry for his marriage, this engineer gentleman had hatched this plot to tie his daughter to Shiva. Overall, Shiva's condition was like a poor woman and a tiger. Meanwhile, Sneha got a call from inside. She said yes, yes. She kept looking at the plate and then at him as if she would not get up from there until he finished eating. When he drank the coffee without any luck, ate the snack, and got up to wash his hands, she took him inside to the sink on the veranda. As if to indicate that he had escaped from temporary danger, the great grandmother took the rest inside. "Now I cannot get up from here. I am caught in the debt of their food. If I leave like that without talking to that great grandfather, I will not be able to repair my house at the government expense in this life. Not only that, but many more troubles may start in the future." So I sat waiting, gritting my teeth. If they don't send staff to inspect and add more stones to the work that is being done, my fate will be Govinda. And he knew that he definitely couldn't ask his father, who had gone abroad, to bear the expenses of all this himself. Finally, the senior engineer came and sat down. The first thing he said when he saw him was, "Do you understand the deal? Marry my daughter and get the groom you want." Shiva was not so stupid that he could not understand his wish. "Look, Shiva, this is my only daughter Sneha. I have no other sons." She was not much interested in studies. She did not pass the 10th standard and stayed at home. Her mother died at a young age, so I raised her with great affection. I got married a second time. She got a stepmother, and she also did not have children. She was always depressed because she did not get love from her stepmother, and she ate too much and became a little fat. She grew up as such a beautiful girl. She did not learn the housework required by a housewife. What is the need for that? There are many servants in the house, from the cook to the maid. You don't even think about marriage. Even before you ask if you want something like this, you spend lakhs to impress your family and give them everything they want and have a grand wedding. What else do you want? Now you tell me. Shiva felt the rain of wealth stop. He sighed. "I am only 26. I do not want to get married so soon." "Yes, she is 30 now. But I know very well that you, the modern youth of today, are not the kind of people who bother with all these things. Just list what you want and tell me." "Sir, again my application. Repair of that quarters. Get it done as soon as possible," he said, finishing his sentence. Oh, even after I said so much, you still didn't understand. Will my daughter like Sukumari set foot in your poor quarters? Fix a time. I will register a grand bungalow in Sadashivnagar, Jayanagar, Kormangala, wherever you want, a fancy car, etc. Don't worry about the house servant. The other things. Go to work comfortably and come back. I have replaced you with another animal and taken away your job. The main thing is that you become my son in law. He explained all the details in one breath. Sir, I am the only son of my parents. They are already looking for a girl somewhere else. However, I will tell them about you and get their permission. For now, please look at this file and get it passed, he said, handing over his application file to him. He took it in his left hand, examined it, and threw it in the corner of the sofa. As if this shock to the boy on the first day was enough, he said, "Yes, yes, this marriage should be conducted in a ritualistic manner with the blessings of the elders. Tell your relatives and friends to bring everyone from your village to this wedding. Whatever their demands may be, let's fulfill them this week. If you say so, let's send a taxi and bring them here next Sunday, and let the girl see the ritual." Sir, don't forget my file. Okay, okay, talk to your father today. Leave the rest to me, he said and went inside. Shiva left from there thinking what a poor life he had lived. He only wanted an educated, beautiful, understanding, simple girl as his partner. This huge package deal was too much for him to swallow. The image of a slave son in law who had been playing ball in his uncle's house for the rest of his life as his mother's husband was unbearable for him. Especially the idea of marrying a woman who was like a sister to him had put his romantic mood in a corner. Unable to confront that Sahib directly, he said, "Let's see later," and a week passed in the midst of work. When he did not go to the trouble of calling that Sahib again, he understood his wish. The next week was night duty. Having somehow faced that difficulty and thinking that the house allotted to him by the government would never be repaired, he talked to a servant and said, "Let's somehow get the necessary repairs done with some cement, sand, etc., and spend 10,000 rupees on the necessary materials and go to that quarters house with two servants." He went to veranda and fumbled in his pocket for the key to open the door when he heard a commotion from inside. The door was half open. Loud laughter could be heard from the inner room. Along with it, obscene words were heard. He went inside and saw that four goons were wearing masks, were playing poker and shouting, holding women and meat. Two bar girls were bustling around the room, supplying them with what they needed. Shiva's whole body was burning. "What is this? Who are you? What have you done in my house?" One of them laughed and said, "Station master, you only have one key to the house. Have you forgotten that another department is in the admin office?" "What do you mean? Who gave you that key?" "Oh, don't you know all that, station master?" "Hey Lily darling, go closer and tell him the details," said another goon. Then a girl came and tried to hold Shiva with her. Shiva tried to free himself from her like a snake or a scorpion had fallen on him and screamed, "Get out of here first." When another girl used her arm to catch him as he was about to fall, another thug got ready to click a photo of the two of them. In a moment, Shiva realized that he was about to get caught in such a mess and pushed her away with all his might and left. He realized that the poor thing's photo would be uploaded to Facebook and blackmailed him. The four thugs, enraged by this, attacked him together and beat him up. This was not a movie, this was real life. Damn, what kind of hero was he to cover them up all at once? Tears welled up in his eyes at his helplessness. He shook his head and entered the house thinking that this harmless animal would not do anything to him. He walked forward and sat on a bench under a tree near the platform of his station. He felt sad. What could he do to make all this okay? He did not understand. He clearly understood what was behind the goons behaving so badly. How could this station master fight alone against that bully senior like a punch in the air? Otherwise, he would have to sacrifice himself by marrying his daughter. He could not bear that either. He sat down with his hands on his head, not knowing anything. At that moment, he was worried that he wouldn't find anyone to comfort him. At the same time, Sahana had arrived from Mumbai by train to Bangalore. She had gotten off at this small station in Yelahanka, which was closer to her house, instead of going to Yashwantpura or Majestic. She had to cross the platform gate and accidentally saw Shiva in that desperate state and came to talk to him. Hello Shiva, how are you? He was a little shocked to see her by there by accident. Yes, are you okay? What are you doing here? It was like your father said you got a job in Mumbai. Yes, that's true. My sister had an attack and it's serious. My father wired me that she has been admitted. I left there last night and I am coming straight away. How are you? Why are you looking a bit serious? Anything wrong? It's nothing. Line shift all week, fever since yesterday. I came here feeling very bored. Come on, I'll drop you, he said, taking her luggage and putting it in his Honda. He did not listen to her, who was shyly saying no, and took her straight to the hospital. There he went straight to the cardiology department and met Natraj in the ward where Sanjana was admitted. Unfortunately, Sanjana had been shifted to the ICU ward that morning. The cardiologist was supposed to come at 5 pm and explain the details to him. They had both been starving since morning but had endured the serious atmosphere of the hospital. Shiva had forced them both to go to a nearby hotel and brought idlis for everyone. When they came back after drinking coffee and recovering, they found that the cardiologist had come to their chamber. When they entered the hospital waiting for their turn, they were told that an operation would have to be performed at 7 am the next morning. They would need 2-3 units of blood. Sanjana's group B negative is rare. There was no stock in the hospital's blood bank. All preparations were made for the operation. Shiva, who brought Natraj out, told him not to worry and told his friends that he would bring donors who would give 3-4 units of blood. With Shiva's help, he gained strength. As he had said, he took the help of his friends and joined them, and 4 people donated blood at the blood bank and sent it to Sanjana's operation room. The father and daughter were speechless in front of Shiva's generosity. After fighting for 1 week, Sanjana closed her eyes forever. The big hole in her heart since birth had taken her life today. Shiva consoled Sahana and Natraj as much as he knew. Thus Shiva came and went to her house more and more. Now both of them were very close. The death of elder daughter had made Natraj mature. He surrendered to a long silence and always slept. Sahana resigned from her job because she could not leave him and go to Mumbai. Thus months passed. Shiva had stopped worrying about his house. Thus, when they both met, he wanted to tell her his worries, but she kept quiet, wondering what she had done. He came and returned to his house after taking care of Natraj. That day, the girl whom her father had seen thinking about something wanted to call the family and ask for more time. The number kept ringing on that side. No one picked up. He tried twice more and it went silent. The next day, Sahana came to the railway station to renew her pass. Sahana was happy to see Shiva at the counter there. She wondered why he had never proposed to her despite their friendship. Hasn't he passed the exam again after all these days since he came from Mumbai? Shiva asked. Where I was busy running to the hospital, no one paid any attention to this. Give me the form quickly. Oh, you forgot the photo. It cannot be done now. It's time for the counter to close, Sahana reminded. Okay, you fill the form, deliver it to my house. I will arrange to send it to the head office as soon as I get there tomorrow morning. It's only two stops away from my house. She gave him her address and phone number. What the heck, I used to come even though it was quite far, Sahana said proudly. Without any romantic smile, he immersed himself in his work. She reasoned that this jaded stage had not changed yet. That evening, Sahana reached Shiva's house at 6 pm. It was around the time of the bachelor's house. Shiva had returned from the office half an hour ago. He was washing his face and making tea for himself. He greeted her politely, made her sit down, and brought her tea and biscuits. He was talking in a hushed tone about how expensive the rent and advance of rented houses were. He was telling her to look for a better house. Someone called out from outside. She went to inquire about the address. Someone was looking for the address on the side road. Shiva was explaining to them. Meanwhile, his phone rang. It must have been an important call, so she answered it herself so as not to miss the message. She asked, "Hello, who are you talking to?" The phone rang angrily at that point. "Who is it? It must have been a call," Shiva asked her as he came in. "I don't know. I received a message saying I should give you a message." They cut the line from that side. When Shiva noticed the number, he realized that it was the number of Shruti, the girl his father had seen, probably from a landline. He immediately felt embarrassed to call her in front of her. He changed his mind and said, "I wanted to tell you since yesterday. There is a problem. I got a sanction for my railway quarters house. But it is a dilapidated building. It looks like no one has lived there for 2-3 years. I will repair it myself, but it won't be possible without 50,000. He gave full details, and now he was embarrassed that goons had come there and had sat up. "Huh? Is that all? Don't worry. Give me the house number and address of your quarters. I'll see if I can do something." Yes, could something happen? I did not want to look for another rented house. I did not want to change it again and again. So when our admin office senior PV engineers visited the house for its repair sanction, that landowner called his dummy daughter to my house and tried to tie her head to me. I have also given up the desire for that house. On the other hand, I am worried about duty. On the other hand, I am not able to find a peaceful house. Sahana realized that he was so immersed in this problem that he was not able to be romantic. She assured him that she would definitely take the help of her acquaintances and left from there. "I mean to chase away those goons. You go and help me and don't get into trouble." "Okay, give me the key to that house. The rest will be done later." "But this is a departmental question. I am concerned that you should not be troubled by those sinners again. This makes it clear that your file is in the corner. We don't want to sit around like this. Let's think of something practical and creative. We will definitely find a solution to this," she said. Shiva, for the first time, admired this girl for being more forward thinking and courageous than him. Ordinary Indian men think that a girl is so fast before marriage, but after marriage she will become her own boss and rise to the top. But Shiva, who was of the opposite nature, thought positively that the girl was ready to take on responsibility on her own and that she should support her. And that he should support her. He was not sure that this girl could handle such a big responsibility, but since he had no better option, he agreed to this agreement. When she got home, she looked up the number of her college classmate. Prithvi had now risen to a high position in the railway police. It was her merit that he got posted in the same area. Sahana told him in detail that her cousin had found him in such a difficult situation. She also told him that her cousin was the railway station master. Actually, Prithvi was also facing a small problem. His sister's marriage was fixed. An entire compartment had to be taken to Mumbai. So there was a reservation problem. Sahana promised him that she would fix the technical fault in it. In this way, she became a bridge between the two and solved the problem on both sides. When Prithvi went with his staff, searched for those hooligans, arrested them and put them inside, no one else came to the house. Meanwhile, with Shiva's help, the reservation problem was solved and Prithvi could go to Mumbai for his sister's marriage smoothly. In this way, Sahana got a special place in Shiva's heart. As luck would have it, the senior engineer had been transferred elsewhere and the new one had heard his report and his file was now available according to his seniority. So the work began with the sanction of the government repair. Whenever Shiva had night duty, he would personally stand in front and guide him and make the work go smoothly. Since Natraj's health had improved so much, Sahana was now free. She also stood in front and did the work as needed in Shiva's absence. One of her friends was an interior designer, so on her advice, she brought the required additional materials and gave the house a beautiful look in Shiva's absence. The painting and woodwork were all done and the house was ready for the housewarming. Shiva was completely in love with her because she came almost every day and took full responsibility for making this dilapidated house look so beautiful. That evening, while he was resting, Shiva's father called. "Who is it? How did a girl come to your house before the wedding? If Shruti calls you that day to talk to you, don't be so shocked when another girl answers." What's the big deal? Are you asking so seriously? Shiva was surprised. I will clarify what the real issue is. Would you not your future wife be shocked if another girl answers your phone? Oh, I haven't even spoke to that Shruti. I haven't agreed to the marriage. Is that why she gave such a big compliment like your daughter-in-law? Then I'll tell you I don't want that relationship. Tell them to find a boy somewhere else. He hadn't expected his son to be so bold. What are you saying? We have already given them our word. They have started preparing for the wedding. The wedding card has gone to print. Daddy, please listen to me for a moment. I haven't said that I have agreed to the girl. If you make any arrangements, I am not responsible for it. Definitely tell them that I won't marry that Shruti. Where did you get so much courage? Don't my words have any value? What should I answer them for? It was your fault that you promised them without asking me. The one who answered the phone that day was Sahana, who was full of my heart. The situation was not like this then. I am saying now I am marrying Sahana. She understood my hardships and happiness, solved my house problems, took full responsibility, and helped me to move into the quarters house and became my partner in the true sense. I don't even know who Shruti is. I didn't say anything to her. She complains to you. That girl doesn't want any company. Here I will get ready for the marriage and send you the marriage certificate. Simply getting married one day is enough. If there are 10-20 people, it is enough. When he said that, he did not say anything. The next day, he met Natraj and asked him to arrange a simple wedding the next week. Sahana and Natraj treated him with great respect. Shiva informed his parents of the date and booked the train tickets. Even so, when they arrived, their marriage was simple in the presence of 20 people. After that, Shiva and his wife entered the new quarters with their elders and got married. Now the life of the husband and wife was like honey. All worries were gone and they had finally settled in a nest of peace. After 15 days, Shiva's parents left Bangalore for America directly. After 6 months, they were going to Australia. So Natraj was wanting to be alone, rented the house along with the clinic and moved in with them. They landed here. Like Nanda Gokula, that peaceful nest was ready to lead a new life in Sahana Shiva's life. Sahana would smile and say that Shiva's romantic mood had now crossed the line. Shiva, who had won in life with the cooperation of his wife, went on duty happily. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.